Alejandro Perez, my fiancé, who hadn't shown any sign of life for an entire week, finally called. However, he immediately started questioning me the moment I answered. Clara Fernandez, what is wrong with you? Our families have already decided the time and place of our wedding. How can you just cancel it like that? I was about to respond when he interrupted, continuing his outburst. How many times have I told you that Raquel's health is delicate? Even a cold could easily worsen. I need to be by her side to make sure she's okay at all times. Why are you so easily jealous? Don't you care about her life at all? That's just how life is. I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Last night, I had gone out alone to make the wedding arrangements. On my way home, a speeding truck hit me. I tried to call Alejandro before losing consciousness, but all I heard was that the call went to voicemail. He had deliberately rejected my call. It wasn't until I was on the verge of passing out that a message appeared on my blood-stained phone screen. His impatience with me was clear from the choice of words. Get to the point. Realizing I hadn't responded immediately, he soon sent another message. What's wrong with you? Why do you have to call me while I'm trying to comfort Raquel? Don't you know she could hurt herself when she's emotionally unstable? Even after I woke up, Alejandro continued his rant, scolding me. Suddenly, Melissa stormed into the room and threw my phone on the floor. Alejandro, are you crazy? Clara was involved in a traffic accident last night. A truck hit her, twice. If we hadn't gotten her to the hospital in time, she would have died. Can't you tell the difference between a cold and a traffic accident? Melissa's voice was sharp with frustration. Alejandro chuckled in response to what she said. You're lying to a trained doctor, Melissa. You really overestimate your intelligence. And with that, he hung up. Melissa heard the call and clenched the phone tightly. Before I could say anything to console her, her phone began to ring. It was a call from her fiancé, Carlos Sanchez, who also happened to be Alejandro's childhood friend. Melissa, what are you and Clara up to? Don't you realize Raquel got so worked up with jealousy that she almost had an attack? Can you imagine what could have happened if Alejandro and I hadn't been here? Don't you care about her life at all? The Sanchez family will never welcome such a cruel woman. I don't care if you want to cancel the wedding. Melissa was so upset that she almost cursed out loud. However, she realized Carlos had already betrayed her by cursing out her entire family. I struggled to take her hand. Don't get angry, Melissa. They're not worth it. Melissa looked at the medical devices connected to my body, her eyes brimming with tears. Clara, does it still hurt? I smiled and shook my head. I no longer felt any physical pain. The deepest pain had come when Alejandro hung up on me. Melissa randomly turned on a TV show to lift the mood. We watched and commented on it together. This guy looks awful. His face is like a monkey's. He must be a comedy actor. This scene feels so fake, like it's scripted. However, we soon stopped laughing. Carlos, a famous celebrity in the entertainment industry, appeared on screen. Melissa's expression darkened. She cursed her bad luck and wanted to change the channel, but Carlos's voice stopped her. It was one of those melodramatic moments typical of variety shows. Carlos gazed passionately at the camera and said, "What I regret the most is never confessing my feelings to the girl I liked years ago." People around him started asking questions. Melissa clenched her fist tightly. I patted her arm to calm her, though I felt sorry for her deep inside. Although Carlos and Melissa were engaged, they had never gone public with their relationship. Carlos had claimed that revealing their engagement would hurt his popularity and disrupt his career, even though working in the entertainment industry was just a hobby for him given his family's wealth. Whenever Melissa spoke up too much, Carlos would lash out and criticize her for not being understanding or supportive of his work. He never acknowledged how tirelessly Melissa worked to squash negative rumors about him, nor how she helped promote his new dramas whenever they aired. Melissa once said she knew it was his dream to succeed in the industry, which was why she did everything she could to help him reach the top. Yet, to Carlos, everything she did came from jealousy. Carlos had always wanted to be a star and believed that the only people who truly understood him were Alejandro and their mutual childhood friend, Raquel Suri. Melissa forced a smile as she noticed my worried expression. "It's okay, Clara. We've already decided to cancel our weddings, right? We'll just notify their parents later. Once this is over, we'll be free." I nodded with tears in my eyes. To my surprise, I received a call from Alejandro that night. He sounded annoyed. "Clara, why are you being so irrational? Raquel had a cold. I was there to help her recover. You always think the worst of everything. You decided not to attend the scheduled banquet. Something so trivial. Our parents are waiting for you alone. Clara, be reasonable. Don't make me come to you." Normally, I would have felt sad after being coldly reprimanded by Alejandro and would have ended up accepting his accusations. "Alejandro, since I've decided to cancel the wedding, there's no point in attending this banquet, right?" The phrase "cancel the wedding" infuriated Alejandro even more. He started shouting in anger. "Do you even hear yourself right now? You sound like a crazy woman making decisions based on emotions. I never realized how irrational you really are. I took the initiative to call you. Is it so hard to step back? Everyone is waiting for you here. How much more do you want to embarrass us? You have to come today. Tell me where you are and I'll pick you up right now." I looked at the hospital blanket with its name embroidered on it. I suddenly felt extremely tired. "I'm at the Icon Hospital. Can you pick me up here?" After 2 seconds of silence, I could hear him scoff. "Clara, you're lying just to get me to treat you better. Is that why you said such a thing?" I closed my eyes and let out a bitter laugh. I knew exactly how this would end. I also knew that no matter how bad I felt, he would always prioritize his own needs. Despite knowing all this, I still harbored a sliver of hope. Suddenly, a wave of nausea hit me. I leaned over the edge of the bed and began to vomit. Alejandro remained oblivious and continued speaking in a superior tone. "If you want to throw a tantrum, do it on your own. Don't drag Carlos's fiancé into this." They had agreed to meet with their parents to discuss and finalize their wedding date. Now she's nowhere to be found. Just because you can't handle your own relationship, you've decided to involve others. You even used your own life as an excuse. Don't you think you've gone too far? If I let you get away with it this time, you'll hurt yourself on purpose just to make me do something. No matter what happened, Alejandro would always believe that I orchestrated everything to manipulate his sympathy. At a party last year, Raquel had given me food I was allergic to, causing a high fever that almost took my life. Even then, Alejandro had looked at me coldly and said, "Clara, the way you deceive people makes me sick. You didn't want to marry into my family. You've already tricked my parents into approving our marriage. Why are you still pretending?" To Alejandro, I was a ruthless woman using self-destructive methods to ruin his relationship with Raquel. In the past, I had desperately tried to explain myself every time he said something like that. But now I was so tired that I didn't even bother defending myself. "Alejandro, I want to cancel the wedding once I recover." After I hung up the call, I felt lighter for the first time in months. The weight I had been carrying on my shoulders had finally lifted. I no longer had to try to please Alejandro or exhaust myself justifying things he would never understand. Melissa sat beside me, still furious over Carlos's words. We both knew those men would never change. And although we had decided to cancel our weddings, the cycle of lies and manipulation was far from over. A few days later, still recovering in the hospital, I received an unexpected call. It was Alejandro's mother, Mrs. Lourdes. Her tone was sweet but firm. "Clara, dear, I heard you're going through a tough time with Alejandro. That's normal in an engagement, but you must understand that sacrifices are inevitable. He has many responsibilities with Raquel, and you need to be understanding. I hope you'll reconsider canceling the ceremony." I listened in silence, trying to stay calm. She didn't ask how I was or if I needed anything. All she wanted was for me to reconsider the wedding. "Mrs. Lourdes, I appreciate your concern, but I've made my decision. I can't marry someone who abandons me every time I need him." There was a pause on the other end of the line, followed by a cold laugh. "You know, Clara, Alejandro may be difficult, but he's a good man. And a woman like you should feel grateful to have someone like him. Life won't give you another chance with a man like that." I ended the call, disgusted by the cynicism. They saw nothing beyond appearances and control. The truth was that Alejandro wasn't a good man. He was selfish, spoiled, and I could finally see that clearly. Melissa stayed by my side all day in the hospital, trying to lighten the mood with jokes about how our lives could make a great Mexican soap opera. We both laughed, but there was bitterness in our laughter. No matter how much we tried to hide it, the pain of betrayal was an open wound. A few days later, Alejandro showed up at the hospital unannounced. He entered the room with a cold expression, as if he was there out of obligation. "I came to sort this out once and for all, Clara. Tell me what you want to end this nonsense. Do you want to expose me? Cause a scandal? Because if that's what you're after, it won't work." I stared at him, unable to believe how far his arrogance could go. "I don't want anything, Alejandro. I just want you to leave me alone." He laughed, as if I had just told the funniest joke in the world. "Of course, you want something. Women like you always want something." Melissa stood up, furious, and stepped toward him. "That's enough, Alejandro. You left her in the hospital to chase after Raquel, and now you have the nerve to come here and insult us." He ignored her completely and turned to me. "I knew you'd drag Melissa into this mess. It's not enough for you to ruin our relationship. You want to destroy others' lives, too? Leave, Alejandro," I whispered, exhausted. "Not before making one thing clear," he said, leaning over the bed. "You are never enough for me, and you never will be." As soon as he left, I felt a knot unravel in my chest. It hurt to hear those words, but I was finally free. Recovery at the hospital was slow, but little by little, I regained my strength. Melissa was always with me, and together we planned our next step. We didn't just want to leave those abusive relationships, we wanted to make it clear to everyone what we had endured. Shortly after, we found out that Raquel and Alejandro were hosting an engagement party to make their relationship official. Photos began circulating on social media, showing them radiant and happy. Melissa and I exchanged glances, and we knew exactly what to do. We went to the party. We entered unannounced, blending into the crowd. Alejandro and Raquel were the center of attention, surrounded by friends and family. When they saw us, their faces turned pale. "What are you doing here?" Alejandro asked, his voice low but furious. "We just wanted to wish you happiness," Melissa replied with a fake smile. "You both deserve it." Before they could react, we pulled out our phones and started live streaming. Melissa turned to the camera and began speaking in a firm voice. "Hello, everyone. This is the engagement party of Alejandro and Raquel. But before we toast to the happy couple, we'd like to share some things about how we got here." Alejandro tried to interrupt her, but I stepped in, blocking his way. "No, Alejandro. It's our turn to speak now." The crowd around us began murmuring, confused and intrigued. Melissa told everything, how they had manipulated, humiliated, and discarded us. With each word, Alejandro and Raquel sank deeper into their own shame. When we finished, an awkward silence filled the room. Alejandro tried to defend himself, but no one wanted to listen. The live stream was flooded with supportive comments for us and disdain for them. We left the party feeling accomplished, but we knew this was just the beginning. Alejandro and Raquel would try to bounce back, but we were ready for every step they took. We knew this war was far from over, but this time, we would be the ones setting the rules of the game. Melissa and I left the party knowing that the live stream had ignited a spark that wouldn't fade anytime soon. The video went viral within hours. On social media, most of the comments were on our side, while Alejandro, Raquel, and Carlos became targets of heavy criticism. The narrative had shifted, and for the first time, the control was in our hands. The next morning, Alejandro tried to contact me multiple times, sending messages and leaving voicemails. But it wasn't out of remorse. He was desperate because his and Raquel's public image was in shambles. His family's company, which relied heavily on a good reputation, began losing contracts. Investors started pulling out, and customers boycotted their business. Tabloids kept publishing the scandal, turning their engagement party into a national joke. Carlos didn't escape unscathed either. As a public figure, the revelation that he had cheated on and manipulated Melissa caused his career to collapse. TV producers dropped him from new projects, sponsors cut ties, and his agents abandoned him. Once a promising celebrity, Carlos became an example of how the public no longer tolerated abuse and hypocrisy. A few weeks later, I received a formal letter from Alejandro's lawyers. They wanted me to sign a non-disclosure agreement and delete the video in exchange for financial compensation. Melissa and I laughed at the proposal. We didn't want money, we wanted our freedom and, above all, justice. So instead of accepting the agreement, we hired a lawyer and filed a lawsuit for defamation and emotional damages. In court, Alejandro tried to play the victim, claiming it was all just a misunderstood personal vendetta. Raquel cried and portrayed herself as a loyal friend, insisting everything had been twisted by our jealousy. But we had plenty of evidence, messages, recordings, and even witnesses who confirmed how they had manipulated and mistreated us. During the trial, when Alejandro and Raquel realized there was no way out, they turned on each other. Alejandro revealed that Raquel had always had ulterior motives in their friendship, while she exposed Alejandro's lies and infidelities, trying to save herself. Their image crumbled further with every revelation. In the end, we won the case. Alejandro was ordered to pay significant damages for the harm he had caused, and Raquel lost all her credibility. His family's company, unable to recover from the PR crisis, went bankrupt. They lost everything: status, money, and influence. Carlos also faced consequences. Ostracized from the entertainment industry, he tried to rebuild his image with videos on social media, but people never forgot what he had done. His fame turned into infamy, and he became known as a symbol of arrogance and failure. With a court victory, Melissa and I finally felt like we had closed that chapter of suffering. But we didn't stop there. We used the visibility we had gained to launch an organization that helps women escape abusive and manipulative relationships. We transformed our pain into a greater cause, and it gave us a new purpose. Years later, at a charity event organized by our foundation, I saw Alejandro for the last time. He was unrecognizable, worn down, without the arrogant glow he once had, volunteering and asking for donations. When our eyes met, he tried to speak to me, but I simply smiled and walked away, knowing that he no longer had any power over me. Melissa and I had finally found the peace we had long sought. We discovered new paths, built genuine friendships, and, most importantly, learned to value ourselves. What began as a story of betrayal and humiliation ended in personal triumph and an opportunity to change lives. Now we were free, and this time it was us who set the rules of the game.